Hello and good morning, and welcome to AskAWebGeek. My name is CJ Gilbert, and I'll be your host for the next hour or so through the wilds of the internet. I'm broadcasting live from the web cave inside the web jungle, where we're going to talk to you about websites, marketing, email campaigns. We're going to answer any questions that you have about websites, marketing, email, anything online, social media. What are you struggling with in your business this week? What can help you move forward, or what's holding you back? If it's online and it's something that we can take a look at and solve for you, we will. My name is CJ Gilbert, and I'm here to help your business do more business and do better business. Yes, I do have a featured animal to share with you this week. However, not right now. In just a few minutes. It's actually part of my featured topic of the week. So stay tuned. Buckle up. We're going to head deeper into the web jungle right now. Okay, we're going to flip over to the slideshow. Let's do it with my camera this morning, because you've seen these slides before. Ask a Web Geek with CJ Gilbert. This is the show where we say, what would you like to ask a web geek? You know, I believe that your website is your number one tool. What? Your website is your number one tool to grow and support your business. And if you're thinking of it like that, if you're using it like that, I don't believe a website's something that you do once and then you put it over on the shelf and you forget about it. That's not what a website's supposed to do. A website is a tool that's here to serve your business. How can it do that, CJ? Well, it can do that in these ways. I believe that a website should help you attract more customers, make more sales, enhance your customer service, increase your efficiency. All of these things add up. They help you save time, save money, and ultimately serve your clients better, faster, and easier. I want to say congratulations. I want to take just a minute to say congratulations. You are in the right place doing the right thing. And I want to say good for you. You know, there's only a small percentage of people who are actively looking to improve their business, improve their personal lives. And I know that you are one of those people, because there's no other reason that you would be watching a video about how to improve your business, how to improve your website, unless you were looking for some tips and tricks and you already had the desire inside of you to learn more and do better. So I want to say congratulations. You're in the right place doing the right thing. And I want to acknowledge you for being here this morning. You've joined Ask a Web Geek. Let me share with you just a little bit about how the show works. It begins in our Facebook group. So if you would, join our Facebook group. By the way, all these links that I'm going to be talking about are on our website, AskAWebGeek.com. So you can go there first to get all the links to everywhere else. So we go live first into our Facebook group, which is Ask a Web Geek in Facebook. Please join the group. It's an open group. Invite you to share. Invite you to invite your friends, if you would, please. We're growing a community of entrepreneurs and business owners and business professionals. And an amazing thing is happening. It was my intention that this would be the place where you ask the question and then we would talk about it on the show. But something interesting is happening. People are asking questions, and then other people in the community are answering those questions right away before we even get to the show. And that's really exciting, and I love to see that happen. And I absolutely encourage you to ask a question, post a question. I've specifically created this as a group so that you can ask any question you want freely. You can make a post freely in the group, and other people can jump in with their ideas, comments, suggestions, and we're going to help each other grow. So that's where it begins, in the Facebook group, Ask a Web Geek. We're also on Twitter. Are you a Twitter user? I am. So if you'd like to ask a question on Twitter, or if you're watching the show later, some people like to tweet along with the show. If you use the hashtag AaWG for AskAWebGeek, that'll help me find it later. Or you can just send a message to @AskAWebGeek. So if you have a question, just say, hey CJ, how do I upload this picture to wherever it is you're trying to do it, right? I'm trying to upload this picture and it's telling me, it's giving me an error. It's saying it's not the right format. It's not the right, size or something. What do I do about it? @AskAWebGeek. That'll come right to me. I'll find it, and we'll make sure to get that question answered for you. Okay, so join us Facebook. Join us on Twitter if you're a Twitter user. I would love for you to subscribe on YouTube. You may be watching this on YouTube already, hit the subscribe button if you are. If you are not, if you're listening to my voice through the podcast or you've found us in our Facebook group, would you please subscribe to YouTube? I would really appreciate that. Again, you can find that link on our website, AskAWebGeek.com. There's two big buttons right at the top. One's going to take you to the Facebook group. One's going to take you to the YouTube page. So we'd love it if you'd go to YouTube, hit subscribe. I'm looking for 100 subscribers. I need 100 subscribers before YouTube will let me customize that address. So it's going to take me a little bit of time before I can tell you, hey, go to youtube.com/AskAWebGeek or whatever we end up naming it. I need 100 subscribers first. Would you please be one of those 100 subscribers? I would greatly appreciate that. So go to our website, AskAWebGeek.com, click that big button that's going to take you over to YouTube, and then hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. And if you click the little bell next to it, or make sure that it is clicked, it'll notify you when we post a new video there. We record on Wednesday. I usually get the video up by Saturday. Other things may happen. I think there's a birthday party we're going to this Saturday, so that may delay things, or I still might get it done later that night. So YouTube will let you know. If you hit the subscribe button and then you click the little bell, it'll tell you when that video goes live so you can watch it later. All right. And finally, it's a podcast, AskAWebGeek. I have links on the website. If you're an iTunes user, if you're an Apple user, it'll jump you to the iTunes podcast, or the Apple podcast player. If you're an Android user, I've got a link that will jump you over to the Google podcast player. And if you have a podcast player or catcher of your choice, I hope the podcast is already there. Search AskAWebGeek, see if it pops up. I know that we're on Spotify, Stitcher, and several other places, but if there's a favorite podcast player of yours and the show is not there, let me know, because I want to make sure to get it to that place where you like to listen to podcasts, all right? And if you are a podcast listener and maybe you found the show through one of these podcast channels, I would love to hear about that. Would you drop me an email, cj@askawebgeek.com, and let me know that you found it through the podcast. I did hear this last week. One of my friends, colleagues, network associates told me that she's been listening to the podcast on her iPhone, and that's really exciting. That's the first person that's told me they're listening to it as a podcast, and so I really appreciate that feedback. Isn't that fun? This allows you to consume the content on multiple levels. If you jump into all of the places, you're going to get even more value, just the way our minds work. I'll talk about that in the next slide. But this is the idea. If you go to the Facebook group first, and then you subscribe on YouTube, and then you follow on Twitter, and then you listen to the podcast later, you're going to be in a different place, a different time, and you're going to get more out of it at that time. Disclaimer. I got to tell you about this. You must be willing to have, let me make this full screen so you can see it. You must be willing to have your question or issue addressed in a public forum. We're jumping into live websites. We're looking at live things here. So do make sure that the questions that you ask are okay, that I answer them in this public forum. If for whatever reason we need to take a look at something offline or not live on the call, or even if we're editing your website live, I'll make sure that certain things are hidden, like your password. Your passwords are always hidden. Or if there's other things in the back end you don't want people to see, that's okay. Just let me know. We'll work around it. But for the most part, ask me questions that we can answer in a public forum. And that totally includes editing your website live. I will work on your website live during the show if you would like me to. So I'm just throwing that out there. But keep in mind, this is not legal or professional advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. And I recommend that you have both of those people in your pocket, in your business life. You need a business attorney. You need a CPA to consult with you on these super professional things. I'm a web geek, right? I'm just a web geek, folks. I just know a lot about the internet and how websites work and HTML and CSS and all that kind of nonsense. So that's the stuff I'll be talking about. But do make sure to consult with someone, a real professional, when it comes to your business and the way that your legal entities are set up. And also, you accept responsibility for everything. I'm going to give you the absolute best advice and best suggestions that I can based on my experience and knowledge. But again, it's the opinion of this one guy and the other people in our community. But do make sure to consult an attorney and a business professional before you make radical changes to your business, and you accept responsibility for everything, including your own success. Who am I? I'm a web geek. My name is CJ Gilbert. I've been a web developer for over 20 years, since 1995, and I've been doing it full-time under my own business name, Gilbert Studios, since 2004. I have had the privilege and pleasure of working with hundreds of business owners across San Diego and across the country. Most of my business owners are here in San Diego, but I work with people in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Texas, Colorado, Iowa, Tennessee, and several other places. So wherever you are in the country, we're glad that you're here this morning. Please let me know if I can help you in any way, because my business is serving your business. I have a business-to-business business. And what that means is my business only serves other people's businesses. You know, you have a message that only you can share to people who can only hear it from you. And I believe it is part of my job to help you do that. Hi, Julia. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here with us live on the show this morning. Thanks for being here. So my business is serving your business. I want you to do more business. I want you to do better business. And I believe that your website and these other online tools can help you do that. I don't ever want you to feel like, oh my gosh, I got one more thing I got to do. I don't need another thing. CJ, I don't need another thing to do. Write a blog article, post a social media post. I'm already so busy in my business. I get it. I understand. I believe the technology is here to support you and help you do more business and do better business. Ladies, thank you for joining me this morning. Would you please just drop me a quick comment? Let me know that you can hear me okay, you can see me okay. I'd love to get that feedback. The little bar on my audio thing is going back and forth, so it's telling me that you can hear me, but having you say that back to me would be really super. So I'm looking for that comment in just a minute. While we're at it, this is what I was talking about a minute ago, your golden nugget. Be on the lookout for a golden nugget. You know, our minds are so interesting. You learn something new each time you read my book, you hear me speak, you watch one of my videos, you buy me a cup of coffee, you listen to the podcast later. Even if you watch this same show, episode 8, over and over again, you're here with me live, then you come back to Facebook and watch it again later, then you check it out on Saturday or Sunday when it goes live on the on YouTube, and then you listen to it again next week when it becomes a podcast. Do you know you're going to learn something new every single time? It's just the way that our brains work. It's because you are a little bit different each time. You're thinking about something different each time, and your brain is going to point out something different each time you listen to the show. So I challenge you to do that. Watch the same show 3 or 4 times. Listen to this idiot right here talk to you about these internet concepts. The same show 3 or 4 times. I challenge you to do that, and I would love to hear your feedback on what you got new, what you heard differently each time. That's a really interesting exercise. And you know what? It's working for me. Isn't that weird? I watch the show later. I listen to it as a podcast, and it gives me new ideas that I never even thought about. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and Linda had jumped in and said she's doing the same thing. She recorded a podcast, and it's just amazing what our brains tell us as things go on. So isn't that cool? Look for your golden nugget. I recommend you grab a sheet of paper, you draw a line right down the middle, or just to the right of the middle, that's how I like to do it, and that gives you a spot on the left-hand side for notes and a spot on the right-hand side for actions. This way you can take notes as the show goes on, but you can really make sure to list out those action steps you want to take today or in the next few days for your business, and make sure to star your golden nuggets. Alrighty. AskAWebGeek, sponsored by a couple wonderful people. First of all, This is this is one of my mentors and coaches, Eric Lofholm, and he is doing a phenomenal show every morning for 15 minutes. It is a motivational call, and it gets me fired up for the day. It helps put you in a mindset of success. And right now we're studying the 17 principles that Napoleon Hill presented in his work many years ago, and it is fascinating. You have not missed anything if you jump in right now and take action. I've got a special link for you to do that. It's amcall.gilbertstudios.com. That's AM like the morning time, like it's almost 9:30 a.m. amcall.gilbertstudios.com. Jump over there. You'll see this web page right here, and just give him your email and your phone number, and he's going to, not your phone number, your email and your hello. Reset. Give him your name and your email address, and he will send you the phone number. That's where I was going. My mind was going a little fast there. He will send you the phone number and the access code to access that live call in the morning. If you can't make it in the morning or every morning, that's no problem. It becomes a podcast that same day, and you can go to the podcast website to hear it, watch it later, and he always is sharing a bonus material, bonus videos that go with it. So go here, amcall.gilbertstudios.com, give him your email, and he's going to send you all the information on how you can get plugged into that call. I am really enjoying it right now. I've been enjoying it for years, but it is especially good right now as we're studying these 17 principles of success. So I really encourage you to check that out. And I do want to mention my free video workshop, 5 Keys to Unlock the Profit Hidden in Your Website. This is a series of 7 videos. They are each less than 10 minutes, and it allows you to consume the material that I want to present to you in little bite-sized pieces. So the principles are out of my book, 5 Keys to Sharpen Your Website. And what this is going to do is it's going to share with you tips and ideas. There is nothing technical in my book or in this video series. It is just ideas that you can use to make your website better and your whole business better. You see, the secret is, even though I'm encouraging you to work on your website, you're actually working on your business. And that's really exciting. So check that out, mywebsitesafari.com. Mywebsitesafari.com. This is a free class. Jump over there, just pop in your email address, and it's going to email you all the instructions after it confirms that we've got your email address correct. It's going to send you to the first video. It's also going to ask you, hey, it's going to say that we've got 7 videos for you to watch. Would you like to get an email reminder every day for 7 days? Or would you like that email reminder every 3 days, which is going to spread it across 21 days, like 3 weeks. So which works better for you? You want one a day? You want one every 3 days? You get to choose how you want that. And then you'll get the email reminders on that time that you pick with the link to the next video. If you're really ambitious and you just want to go straight through all the videos in one session or in one day, of course you can do that. There's a link underneath every video to take you to the next one if you go look for it. Otherwise, just jump on that list and it's going to drip it to you once a day or once every 3 days. Your choice. mywebsitesafari.com. All right, guys, buckle up, stay hydrated. Make sure you've got your coffee, water, tea, something to keep your whistle wet. I'm going to wet my whistle right now. Okay, my whistle is wet. It's so weird, the things that I say on a live show, isn't it? I know. Nothing you can do about it. It's not scripted. It's not scripted here, folks, so you just never know what I'm going to say. It makes it exciting. Alrighty, it's time for our featured topic of the week, which is also at the same time going to show you our featured animal of the week. And guess who it is? I want you to meet the newest lion. And I'm not lying when I tell you that this last weekend I was privileged to become a lion and join Lions International. I want to share with you a couple of photos and then tell you a little bit more about Lions International. There's some amazing community service organizations out there, and this is one of them, Lions Club International. So this last weekend, I was so privileged to be sworn in and accepted as a lion. So here I am in the middle in my blue shirt. We're down at the beach. My family and I got really sunburned during this time, but here I am. This is the governor on the left. You can see him in his black governor's jacket, and then he proceeds to swear me in, and we take the oath and uphold the rules and this kind of thing. His name's Art, by the way. And then here we have the pinning. This is where he officially pinned me with my Lions Club pin. And then I am a lion. And here's Art shaking my hand, and there's applause. And here's a close-up for you of me wearing that pin, which I have for you to see right here. That's the thing I grabbed just a minute ago. This is my new Lions Club pin. Whoop. Let's make it right. There you go. And I'm so privileged to be a part of the Lions Club. So what is the Lions Club? Well, the Lions Club is a community service organization. Let me read you this brief excerpt from their website. Lions Club International, serving the world one community at a time. Across the globe, Lions are rolling up their sleeves and taking action. With over 1.4 million members, we're the largest service organization in the world, and we're as dedicated to helping those in need today as we were over 100 years ago when we first began. We empower service to meet our community's needs. We save sight, we fight diabetes, we feed the hungry, we support youth, we mobilize disaster relief. So each club, and there's multiple clubs in any geographic area, and the club that I'm a part of, they have a special outreach to the Philippines. They raise money throughout the year, and then they take a team of medical and non-medical staff over, and they perform medical services and dental services for the less fortunate in the Philippines, in these remote villages. Really, really interesting stuff. And they also support the local community. The chapter I'm in is located in the Poway community of California, but there's many others all across the city and across the nation. So I would encourage you, do you know a lion? Well, you know this lion, but if you know a lion in your local area, ask them about the club. Ask them about what's possible. And I also want to give a shout out to the other service organizations. I've had a privilege to speak at the Rotary Club, another amazing service-based organization that they're just looking to enhance the community, support the community with their fundraising and activities and beach cleanup and supporting youth and youth projects and all kinds of different things. So I'm so pleased to be a lion, and I'm so pleased to support my community here locally in San Diego, as well as the impact that we're having across the globe. You can learn more at their website, lionsclubs.org, or do a local search for Lions Clubs, Rotary Clubs, and there's several other community service organizations. There's a lot of churches that do community support. So I would just encourage you, my featured topic of the week is to give back. Join one of these local organizations, or perhaps you're doing it through a church, and support your local community and look for ways that you can give back and serve others, because that's how we grow and that's how we help each other as people. So the featured animal of the week, folks, it's me. I'm a lion. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fantastic? So now I'm a lion, and I'm really grateful to be part of such a great organization. And I want to encourage you, find an organization or a club or a church that you can plug into and help out your community. Cool stuff, right? All right, folks, it's now time to Ask a Web Geek. We've got a lot of really great stuff to go over today. A lot of questions flying through the Facebook group, a lot of answers flying around. Let's start off with these. We'll start off with these ongoing conversations. These are conversations we've had kind of the whole time we've had our show going, and we've taken the big questions that I didn't have a lot of answers for, or maybe I had a couple answers, and we've posted it as an announcement, and we've encouraged people to create their own posts, and we're looking for more feedback. So here's some of the ones we've talked about before. If you know of a customer relationship management tool or a project management tool, or if you've used PR Web, come join these conversations. And there's several others that are taking place there as well. Come pop into these these conversations and let us know what your thoughts are. One of the conversations we've been focusing on was a question we had from Peter, and he was really interested in some good books, good resources on offline, inexpensive guerrilla marketing techniques that he could use, that we could all use. What are some relatively cheap things that business owners and independent professionals can do to gain greater exposure and reach in their local areas and beyond? We've gone over some of the previous answers. I have a couple updates for us today. Robert jumped in and said that Chamber of Commerce meetups and entrepreneur meetups, and that's a really great one. I actually met Peter and Rob, Dr. Rob, through local entrepreneur meetups and networking groups, and that is absolutely a tremendous way to grow your business. I should point out, if you can't read this for our podcast audience, I'll read Robert's second part of his message. Says, "God, I really don't know a lot for offline. Humans scare me." Well, you're in the right place, Rob. Here in the web jungle, we have humans and animals really of all kinds. Nancy writes, "What an interesting comment." Nancy, you're definitely right about that. Very interesting comment. All righty. And then Peter actually came in with an answer himself. He mentions this the original from the early 90s, Guerrilla Marketing, easy and inexpensive strategies for making big profits from your small business. Available on Amazon. And in fact, Peter, I thought this is what you were referencing when you very first asked the question. And maybe you were, and you just thought you'd bring it to our attention, that there is a book called Guerrilla Marketing. Guerrilla in this case is spelled Guerrilla marketing. But don't you know, I've already been thinking about writing a book called Guerrilla Marketing, Gorilla, as in the animal gorilla, because that makes me laugh, because we're in the web jungle. So wouldn't it be appropriate if I wrote a book called Guerrilla Marketing from that perspective? But this is the original by J. Conrad Levinson, and I do recommend it. It's a great book. I should read it again. It's probably been a couple years since I've read it. Peter, thanks for bringing it back to our attention. All righty, we've got some great questions. Let's jump into our questions. A new member, Juliana, who is a massage therapist, by the way, in East County, San Diego. She says, "Hi, CJ. I want to know the difference between .com, .net, and .org." And like I mentioned before I could even get to that question on the show, we have an answer. Kristen jumped in and said, company, network, and organization, right? And Kristen asks, "I'm curious if there is a benefit to picking one over another when registering a domain name." Great question. Great answer, Kristen. You are correct. Yes, .com, that stands for company or also commercial. This is the most common domain name to register when you have a business. Hi, Farley. Good morning. Thanks for jumping into the call this morning. Glad to see you. So yeah, .com is probably the most common one. However, it makes sense if you're registering a .com, you might as well register a .net to go with it for a couple reasons. Number one, it might be something that you want to use later, so you might as well grab it now. Domain names are relatively cheap. My customers pay me about $20 a year to register and renew their domain names for them and manage them and set them up and all the other stuff that goes with that. And if you do it yourself in a different place, you might even be able to get it for less than that. But I do recommend the privacy option, which is included for my clients. So if you want me to register you a domain name, just drop me a line, cj@askawebgeek.com. However, domain names are really important for your website because this is how people get to you. And it is not uncommon to register multiple domain names all at the same time to make sure you have them, to make sure no one else can get them, and to give you something to use later. Maybe you only are thinking about one website concept right now and you think you'll just grab that .com. If the .net is available, grab it too. .org is kind of a special one. It really does refer to an organization of some kind, but maybe you create an organization with your domain name or with your business at some point, and it might make sense to grab that too. They're relatively cheap per year, so it's certainly something you could grab now, and if you want to let it go later, you can, but they're cheap to grab, and it just makes sense to do it. So I'm curious if there's a benefit to picking one over another. Kristen, I think that .com is usually the best way to go, especially if you're a business. There's a couple that are very special. There's a .edu, which is only for educational organizations, schools, universities, .edu, education. That's very special. Only they can have that. There's also the .gov, G-O-V. That's for government websites. Only they can have that, .gov. But the ones that are open to us common people are the .com, .net, .org. And there's a bunch of others. There's one for every country, like .us would be us, .ca I believe is Canada, .de is Germany or Deutschland, and there's multiple others. So if you want a country-specific domain name, you can. And then there's like a zillion others that are popping up. Yes, Farley, exactly. .biz. Another one is .info, .live. I recently created a speaker website for myself, cjgilbert.live. That just kind of made sense to me, and the .com wasn't available. But it made sense to go with .live because it's for my speaking website where I'm speaking live to people. So see how that kind of worked for me, right? cjgilbert.live. Check that out. Any others? From our studio audience here. Hi, Nancy. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. We were just talking about one of your comments, and I think we have another one coming right up. Pam, good morning. Glad you're here with us today. Good to see you on the call today. We're talking about domain names right now. Do you have any suggestions, comments around domain names? I was just saying a .com is like the most common one that you'll want to grab, but you could also get a .net. You can also get a .org if you believe that there's even a slight possibility you could use those later for your business. And Farley mentioned .biz. Some of these ones start to get a little more expensive, what they call these vanity extensions. Those ones get a little more pricey. They can anyway. So you might only ever need the .com and the .net. You might not need multiple ones, but it might make sense. So it's something certainly to do a search for. At the same time you're thinking about what you want to call your business, makes sense to do some searches for domain names and see what's available. That might influence your decision on what you name your business, depending on what domain name is available. You don't want to be too tricky with hyphens and extra long domain names to get the whole name in there. At a certain point, what is that expression? The law of diminishing returns. At a certain point, you're going to get too much, and it's going to start to lose benefit to you. Shorter domain names are better, but they're rarer because, people have been registering domain names since 1995. So they're starting to get more rare. Anyway, it's a tricky little thing to take a look at. It could be a combination of your business name, the community you serve. You could just want to get a domain name that had all your keywords in it. For example, San Diego website design.com. That would be a cool domain name, right? Yeah, I bet it's already taken. Let's see what Farley's saying. Benefit is also if they happen to enter in the wrong extension, you can have it redirected to your primary site. Absolutely, Farley. That's an excellent point. If your domain, if a word that you're using in your domain name is commonly misspelled, you may want to register the domain name with the wrong spelling just to have it redirected to the right spelling. That would be a good use of your time. That'd be a good use of your $20 just to kind of like an insurance policy that even if they misspell something, they'll still get to you. It would be a shame if you grabbed this domain name and then a competitor popped up and got one like super close. So if you can foresee that happening, grabbing several domain names just makes sense. Thank you, Farley. That's an excellent point. Very good. Let me know if you guys have any more questions or comments related to this topic of domain names. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and move into the next questions. Come into our website group. This question right here from Juliana, it's going to stay in our Facebook group. So if you have any other comments or suggestions for either Juliana or Kristen, jump in here and let them know what that is. Garrison, I'm looking for your feedback on domain names. I know that he often makes sure that his clients are searching those domain names at the same time they're working on their branding and their messaging. So Garrison, if you watch this later, I want you to drop a comment under Juliana's post here and let us know what you think about domain names. Would you please? Alrighty. Next question. Hey, this is the one from Nancy. Hi, Nancy. If you're still watching, we're going to answer your question right now. Nancy says, what is your advice to grow a YouTube channel? This is a great question. Absolutely. We'll spend just a minute on this. I should also point out, last week, I believe it was, in episode 7, we had a question on from Sue, I believe it was, on how to promote a webinar. So I'm going to say a lot of those ideas for promoting a webinar would be very much applicable to promoting a YouTube channel. So just a couple things that we went over, go back and watch episode 7 for all the goodness, but things like creating a landing page website where there's an opt-in, maybe you have a free gift that you're offering them, and if they subscribe to your email list, you'll give them this free gift, and you can continue to encourage them to subscribe to and promote the YouTube channel. Creating a Facebook group is a great place to get engagement and build a community, just like we're doing here in AskAWebGeek. We're building a community of people that are interacting and answering each other's questions and sharing resources. And another great way to grow a YouTube channel, I'm trying to grow a YouTube channel right now. It's tough. It's tough because there's a lot of other competition out there, but it's easy too, because all you have to do is ask people, hey, would you subscribe to my YouTube channel? Before I know it, I had 30 subscribers to my YouTube channel. If that happens 2 more times, we'll have over 100. So it does grow organically, and the best thing to do is ask people. In fact, I was on a call yesterday with my speaking coach and mentor, RV Robinson, and one of her main points of her talk that she was teaching us was create a YouTube channel and grow it. And all you have to do to grow it is just mention it to people. Ask them to subscribe. Everything that we do offline when we're talking to people and we're creating in our networking groups and that kind of thing, it's a great place to say, hey, would you subscribe to my YouTube channel? Maybe you have a website that has a link to it, so it's easier to say. When you first build a YouTube channel, you can't have that custom URL yet, so it's going to be difficult to say, hey, go to youtube.com/channel/gobbledygook, right? That would never work. So here's a great usage for a domain name. You could register a domain name and have it forward right to your YouTube channel. Boom, just like that. Wow, maybe I should do that. I just gave myself a really great idea. Hang on while I make a note. Yes, to YouTube. Great idea, CJ. Great idea, Nancy. Thanks, team. So, or you can put that on a website where they can click the button. Either way, or you can have a dedicated URL, a dedicated domain name that takes them right to it. That's a great idea. Great idea for a domain name. So there's a lot of things we can do to grow a YouTube channel. What else? I invite our studio audience. Do you have a comment right now? You can drop me live. I'll read right now to Nancy and to everyone listening at home. Or if you have one that pops up later, jump into our Facebook community, find this question right here from Nancy, and let us know what you think. What are your suggestions to grow a YouTube channel? And I would just point you back to previous shows. I'm going to give you a small list of ideas. All of these would be applicable also to growing a YouTube channel. We talked about the difference between websites and landing pages. You could use that concept to grow your YouTube channel. We've talked about email marketing, and I think we're going to talk about it more here in the next slide coming right up. That is a great idea to grow a YouTube channel. Again, a Facebook group, a community, great ways to grow a YouTube channel. What else, guys? What other ideas do you have for Nancy on how to grow a YouTube channel? I would say be consistent with your YouTube channel. YouTube is its own world on the internet. And so I think consistently, regularly posting to your YouTube channel will be very helpful in helping it grow. And I'm waiting for any other ideas to jump into my brain right before we click off this slide. Studio audience, any other ideas here? For Nancy and ideas on how to grow a YouTube channel. Nancy will be revisiting that in the future to see if anyone has any other ideas, which I would love to learn, right? On how to grow my own YouTube channel. So tell me, how can we do it? But we already have a lot of great ideas. So do check out some of those previous shows. Like I said last week, how to grow a webinar, really similar to how to grow a YouTube channel. So Nancy, do check that out if you haven't already seen episode 7. You'll find the link in the Facebook group. You'll also find the whole episode on our website, AskAWebGeek.com. We've got everything on the website. We've got the video embedded directly in it. We've got the audio embedded directly in it. You can watch and or play either one. I even allow you to download the audio if you want to keep it forever in your own personal library of weird things that CJ says. You can grab it and have it. By all means, have it. Have that MP3 file. It's yours. Listen to it whenever you like. If you really want to do that, I'm going to let you do that. Thanks, Nancy, for your question. Really appreciate it. All right, here's another question from Melissa. Melissa says, one thing that has been a focus as of lately is growing my email list. I'd like to know how other people out there are going about it. This is an excellent question, Melissa. Thank you for asking. I would love to. Email marketing, it's the perfect thing to talk about on this show. If you have any questions specifically on the technical aspects of that, for example, how do I create an email list? What platform should I use for it? What are the steps to do that? How do I get the form on my website so people can actually set that up? What's an opt-in situation? What's a welcome email? If you have questions about the actual process, the technical aspects of it, ask me right here. It's the perfect thing for us to go over in a future show. I don't think that's Melissa's question today. I think she already has an email list set up and she's looking for ideas on how to grow her email list. So we're going to talk about that specifically. But if you do have any other questions about the technical aspects or how to do it or what software, by all means, I'd love to talk about that in a future episode. That is a perfect topic for us here, email marketing and the tools and how to use them. But let me show you what Robert said. He had some immediate answers for Melissa. By the way, Robert, Melissa, I would invite you to connect with each other. You're both vets and you're both a part of my life through different networking groups, and I think you could get a lot of value from each other. So I didn't even foresee the networking opportunities that would come out of this group, and yet it's already happening. So Robert and Melissa, connect together, become friends. Melissa, I want you to check out Dr. Rob's group. Here's a shout out for Dr. Rob. He has a group on Facebook called Success Engineers. Success Engineers with Dr. Rob. Join that group. I invite all of you to join that group. It's made up of a lot of vets, a lot of veterans, but there's others. I'm not a vet. My family is, though, but I'm not a vet, and I'm still on that group and getting a lot of value out of it. So join Dr. Rob's group. You'll get a lot of value out of it. And Dr. Rob, check out what Melissa is doing. She's a personal trainer out of El Cajon and also has some amazing other things that she's doing. She's got a sunscreen company, which is a natural product. So check that out. So anyway, I encourage the two of you to connect through this post and as well, and through Facebook and offline. You're both here in San Diego, so get together for a drink. It'll be a hoot. So let's take a look at what Robert is saying in response to Melissa's question. He says, Melissa, I created about 8 small ebooks and a magazine. All have an email capture system to gain leads. Then I used Weebly, CJ will throw something at me for this, because you get 8 free pages for 1 email for giveaway sites. Because you get 8 free pages for 1 email for giveaway sites. Paired with auto posting software like Buffer, and now those bad boys are churning out posts all night. I wake up with 3 to 6 daily when I use this. So let me unpack a little bit about what Robert is saying here. So the first thing is he created some ebooks. This is what he's using as his giveaway. This is what he's using as his hook. Hey, sign up to my list and I'm going to give you this thing. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. So this is how he's doing it. He created an ebook and then he used Weebly to create that opt-in page. I'm not going to throw anything at you, Robert. I think that's a phenomenal idea. In fact, I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before where we talked about the value of using certain website builders over another. I don't think Weebly is a good long-term strategy because you can't own it. It's owned by them. It's a website owned by them. I would rather you're doing it the way I'm doing it with my mywebsitesafari.com. That's my own website landing page. No one can take it away from me. It's totally mine. No one can close or acquire or merge tomorrow and shut that down. So I know it's going to be there tomorrow, mywebsitesafari.com. So that's the only thing I'd have to say about that, Robert. In fact, I've got a couple other ideas for Robert here in a minute. And then let's take a look at, let's go ahead and take a look at Robert's website right there. I also want to mention he's using a tool called Buffer, which is a social media sharing tool where you can pre-program posts and messages that will automatically post to your social media as you set them. So that's a really great way. Do you see how he's using multiple technologies here in a system? He created the ebook, he created an email list, he created an opt-in on a website, and now he's using Buffer to drip those messages out to his social media all day long, even all night. Robert pointed out to me, there's people on the other side of the world from us, Australia, etc., and they're up when we're sleeping. Why wouldn't you want posts to go out at that time so they can get those messages? Another great tip from Rob. So let's take a look at the website. Let's take a field trip right over there right now. Let me do this. Here's the AskAWebGeek website at AskAWebGeek.com. Please go over there and use that link to subscribe to YouTube. But I want to share with you, this is the link that Robert dropped in our group, 2%ofthebest.weebly.com. So see what he's doing here? He's doing everything right. He's got the opt-in page. He's got, right here, you got your place for your email and your name and what you're going to get with it. And this is going to put you on his list. It's going to give you this free thing. And this is what he's talking about. He put this up and he gets a couple opt-ins every day. Every morning he gets up and checks his email, and he's got a couple more people on his list. Melissa, this is a great strategy for you. How can we do this in your business? What can we create or give away in your business? Let's check out, Robert, I've got a couple ideas for you real quick. Rob is phenomenally famous in our networking entrepreneur groups for giving away free advice live with people right there. And so I'm going to do the same thing for you, Robert. I want to give you just a couple really quick tips on how you could tweak this landing page. I would suggest to you, there's this little menu icon doodad right up here in the corner. It's called the hamburger icon, and it makes this mobile menu fly up. You don't need this for this kind of a site. Do you think, can you disable that? There might be an option to disable that. I'd get rid of it because you don't need it. Any extra buttons can be gotten rid of. We want to get rid of anything extraneous. So Rob, get rid of that. You need a space between this question mark and the "so did I." In fact, if you could, I'd drop that whole phrase "so did I" down to this next line. And then my next suggestion for you is right down here, we've got an ad for Weebly. Now I realize he may have gotten the free Weebly setup, and I think they make you have a Weebly ad as part of it. But I might recommend, it possibly is only a few dollars to remove their advertising. I think that's going to give you a more professional presentation if you remove that Weebly link from that page. And then finally, does it make more sense to have this content right over here above the opt-in? I know it's important to have the opt-in as close to the top of the page as possible, so that you get that engagement right away. And yet, I don't think it would be too far down the page if you swap the location of this picture. What they're going to get, I would put that up here and then have the opt-in below it. But you might get different results. Or maybe you put this picture and this title and content here in this left area, and then you have this headline stretch across the top of the screen, and then you put the opt-in on the right. Just a couple ideas of a little slightly better layout that might help on that landing page. Get rid of that mobile button, don't need it. Get rid of the Weebly ad if you can, don't need that. And finally, if you're paying Weebly anyway to remove their advertising, you might consider getting a domain name. This ties in earlier to our conversation. Get a specific domain name for this opt-in only, and then you can replace that Weebly. Stop advertising for Weebly, Robert. Come on, right? They don't need any more advertisement from you. So I would use your own domain name right there. Can you get 2%ofthebest.com and then have it forward or just have this website pop up at that domain name? Those are a couple ideas for you, Robert, because you so graciously give away your free advice. I'm going to give you some in return. So I'm so pleased to actually do that. Rob's poured a lot of great ideas into me, so I look for opportunities to give him some ideas. So that's just a couple ideas I might share with you, Rob. Thank you so much for jumping in on Melissa's question. And Melissa, that's exactly what I'm going to echo back. Let me flip back over here to the slide to see if I missed anything. So do you see what he's doing here? He's got the ebook. That's the opt-in. That's the free giveaway. That ties into the opt-in. Sign up now and get this free ebook. That adds them to the list. The benefit to you is that you get to market to them over and over again. The benefit to them is they can continue to hear more about the things that you're saying and the teaching that you have for them, and they get even more value than the one book that they opted in for. I'm always looking for that win-win. And then finally, he's using this auto posting software Buffer, which is the same one I use. Dr. Rob told me about this probably about a year, 2 years ago. I used to use Hootsuite, but now I'm using Buffer pretty much exclusively for this. So see the system he's set up here? He's got his ebook, he's got his opt-in, and then he uses this tool called Buffer to drip out those posts 24 hours a day so that those emails continue to come in and those opt-ins continue to come in. Great ideas, right? Great idea, Rob. Thanks for demonstrating for us exactly how to do this right. And I'm kind of doing the same thing with my free video workshop. I'll point it out. It's the same concept. I created the workshop first, which is the video series. Then I created the website that hosts it, mywebsitesafari.com, got a specific domain name just for that one thing, mywebsitesafari.com. It's got an opt-in. You come to it, you put in your email address, it puts you on the email list, and then it sends you the first video. And then it also sends you all the rest of the videos. You get 7 videos in that series, and now you're on my list. And now if I want to tell you about something else that's going on, or a different resource or a different tool, I'm able to do that. And I don't abuse my list. I don't email too much. You'll see people that email their list all across the gamut, right? You've got people that email every single day or multiple times a day. I think it's more common to email your list once or twice a week. And you've also got people that email once or twice a month, maybe once a quarter. So I think the most important thing is to be regular, to be intentional, whatever that is. Whatever that is for you, whatever you can do regularly, do it. And keep in mind, you can pre-program emails just like you can pre-program these posts from Buffer. You can pre-program your emails too. So don't think of it like, oh my gosh, it's something else I've got to add to my list. Think of it instead like, list of things to do. Think of it instead like, let's sit down and we'll create a couple emails and we'll pre-program those out, and you don't have to worry about it for a month or two. Okay, look to what they call batch your time. Do your time in batches. Make the best use of your time. Great question from Melissa. Melissa, let me know if you have any follow-up questions for that. Great answers from Robert. Hopefully we were able to demonstrate, show what he was talking about and the multiple steps that he's created. Great work, Robert, taking that action in your business and getting those things set up. And any one of you can do that. If Rob can do it, you can do that. And I'm not just giving him a hard time. He would tell you that too. If he can do it, you can do it. And that's true. If you have any questions at all about any one of those steps, come back to us and ask that question. That's what I'm here for. If you know in your head, I need an email list, I need an opt-in, I need a giveaway, what's the step that's holding you back from doing any of those things? That's what I'm here for. I will help you set up your email list, set up that opt-in, set up that website, set up that landing page, set up that Buffer account, set up those pre-programmed posts. What's something that we can do here live on the show to help you move your business forward? We'll do any of those things we can, okay? So if you have any questions, follow-up questions on any of those topics or how to use any of those tools we just talked about, come to the Facebook group, drop me a question, and we'll check it out for you online. In fact, I'll even jump right into an account and start doing some work for you live on the show, if you'll have us, if you'll allow us to do that. Let me check and see if we have any other questions. I can't remember. We've been talking so much about Rob and Melissa's. That's it for our show today. Okay, those are all of our questions. Let's check in with our studio audience. I see something going on now. Hey, there's Garrison. Hi, Garrison. Thanks for joining us this morning. Make sure to watch this episode back because I was talking to you earlier. I was talking about you. You don't know what I said. So you'll have to go back and listen, okay? I'm glad you made it here this morning. Alrighty, let me just remind you that our show, Ask a Web Geek, was sponsored today by my speaking coach. I'm sorry, well, he is kind of one of my speaking coaches, but he's really my sales coach and mentor, Eric Lofholm, and his amazing motivational call every morning. You can sign up and learn more at amcall.gilbertstudios.com. That's AM like the morning time, like it's 10 a.m., amcall.gilbertstudios.com. Sign up. It's a totally free. You're going to get access to his 15-minute motivational call live or the recording. My goal is to be there live every single day. I was live there this morning at 7:45. It was a fantastic call. It is every day. It's especially good right now as we're diving into Napoleon Hill's success principles, and I've really got a lot of value out of it. So you can jump into that material too. You won't miss anything if you jump in right now because you can go back through the podcast website and start with success principle number 1, which would have been last... I don't want to guess. I guess it was 2 weeks ago, probably the 3rd, the day after Labor Day, I think that was day number 1. Go find it, start with number 1, do 1 a day, and you'll walk your way through the process and really get a lot out of it. So you can check that out, amcall.gilbertstudios.com. Also, would you please check out my free video workshop? Share this with any entrepreneur. Share Eric's call to amcall.gilbertstudios.com with anyone that you work with in business, any of your colleagues, anyone you want to get fired up for their day, get the right mindset. And then work on your website, work on your business. Go to mywebsitesafari.com. Throw your email address in there, and I'm going to start sending you those videos. There's 7 videos. They're less than 10 minutes a piece, and it's going to help you work on your whole business. We want to improve your search. That's how people are finding you through the internet. We want to improve your sales. That's how people are choosing to do business with you. And we want to improve your customer service, which increases your efficiency, your productivity, and it helps you save time, save money, and ultimately serve your clients better, faster, and easier. I'm here to help you and your business. Mywebsitesafari.com is a great first step to helping you take those steps to do it. Okay? Man, thank you so much for your time and attention here this morning. I'm so glad that you were here with me and you took just a few minutes of your time to be with me. Go to AskAWebGeek.com. Make sure you're plugged into our Facebook group. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. I would really appreciate you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I need 100 subscribers before we can customize that address. Before I can have it be youtube.com/AskAWebGeek, I need to get 100 subscribers first. We're in the 30s as of this recording, so jump over there, hit subscribe. I would really appreciate that. If you click the little bell button, it'll tell you when the next video goes live, usually on a Saturday. You know, your results may vary. AskAWebGeek.com has got all that information. Thank you so much for checking out our show. Check it out on all the places. Make sure that you have joined our Facebook group so you can ask questions there and participate in the live show, and then watch it again later on YouTube. I'd love it if you'd click like. If you'd leave me a comment on YouTube, that would really help boost the show there. And then if you're a podcast listener, check it out by podcast. It's a totally different experience to listen to it audio only at a later time. Your brain will pick up something else and you'll get a new idea. I even am getting a new idea from listening to it later, which was totally unexpected. It's a little painful for me to listen to myself talk. You know how that is. You're always a little critical of yourself, but I'm embracing it because, hey, I'm doing this for you and I'm going to make flubs and I'm going to say stupid words and I'm just going to embrace it because it's going to help you, and that's the whole reason I'm here. So AskAWebGeek.com has got all those links and information. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I really appreciate you being here to work on your business and to help promote the show. I would love any of your likes, your comments, your shares. If you find any value in my show, would you invite a friend, please, to our community? AskAWebGeek.com has got all those links. Thanks so much for your time and attention. This is CJ Gilbert coming to you live from the Web Cave inside the Web Jungle, and we're reminding you that the internet is a jungle. It's so easy to get lost and fall into hidden traps or go down the wrong path. You need to hire a well-trained guide. You're in the right place with these well-trained guides who want to lead you through and get you where you want to go. Have a great week. Have a wonderful Website Wednesday. Have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next week in the web jungle. The internet's a jungle. Rawr. Internet's a jungle. Roar. Hey, I'm a lion. Roar. Have a great week. See you later.